Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Row. Hello everyone and welcome to the Balance Mod May update for the HiGPS Balance Mod. Mod as in a mod and not the official game yet. Jumpads have been greatly buffed, mainly because they weren't really used that often and they didn't provide enough jump. So all aspects of the jump are now higher and further, as well as the health being increased to that of a level 3 teleporter. This also applies to the speed pad, because a lot of the issues were that they got blown up a lot. Real easy, in fact. So we're hoping to see that this changes now. On to the other changes. Demoknight remains bad and not really viable in any game, really. So we are attempting to buff the Demoknight by making him better, stronger, faster, more lethal. So the way we've done that is by starting with the boots. Now the Alibaba Wee Booties and the Bootlegger currently only provided sticky bomb launch users with 25 more health. While as if you use the sword and shield, you would get faster movement speed. So in the spirit of not really tying a weapon to a specific weapon combination or outright upsides and downsides that just ceases to exist if you don't use a certain weapon, we're trying to get away from that. So you can pick and mix whatever weapon and unlock combinations you want, and you shouldn't be missing out on something. So the way we've done this with the Alibaba Wee Booties is that the wearer now never takes any fall damage, and it has increased max ammo on the sticky bomb launcher while using the sticky bomb launcher. So now the Wee Booties have a condition that applies only when you have shield, and conditions that only apply when you only use the sticky launcher, which I think is fair. Now onto the shields. Now the shields are supposed to be representing the sticky bomb launcher, which is an amazing tool you can do tons of stuff with. However, none of the shields do anything remotely close to that. But we have to increase the lethality of using them, because right now Demoknights are no threats. So the Chargin Targe, the least maneuverable of all of them, has gotten a substantial 400% damage increase, meaning a long-range charge will do 200 damage, while a point blank will do 63. And then everything in between, depending on how late or how early you hit within the charge. And also, since shields basically make you useless against sentries, we've given him the 30% sentry damage resistance when using the Chargin Targe, as well as 25% faster recharge, because the recharge time on the shield is a lot slower than it takes to reload all 8 stickies in a sticky launcher. So that's how we're balancing that. To the other shield, we have the Splendid Screen. It receives 20% sentry resistance, so not as tanky as the Chargin Targe. However, its recharge time is increased to 225%, so meaning that you will recharge a lot faster and use your shield a lot more, but it won't do as much damage. Then we have the Tide Turner, which has really been the only kind of viable shield for Demoknight. So what we've done is that we've given him 10% sentry resistance and 60% faster recharge time. Because of how it works with other unlocks and getting charged back, this is now the mobility tool. So we have the Chargin Targe, that's the damage dealer. We have the Splendid Screen, which is the use it a lot thing. And then you have the Tide Turner, which just gives you the control and mobility you can use to do whatever you want with. So we'll see how well this plays as time goes on. On to all the swords. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, but all the swords have a penalty for deploying and holstering. However, holstering penalties can be completely negated by just switching weapons really quick. Like if you're gonna switch to, let's say, sticky launcher from the Eyelander, you press 1-2, and then when you hold the sticky launcher, there is no longer any penalty on it. So same with the Fists of Steel for the heavy. You can completely negate the downside by button presses. So it has been removed from all the swords altogether. For the Persian Persuader, that is one of those weapons that really punishes you for using grenades and sticky bomb launchers, because it's a design where they really want you to use sword and shield with it. If they really wanted to do that, they should just lock you into that specific configuration with the item. But since they don't do that, it really screws you over if you really just want to use a shield that doesn't lower your health all that much, where you're not supposed to get many kills. If you get many kills, you use the Eyelander. If not, then you can maybe use the Persian Persuader. So right now, we removed the ammo penalty and added a minus 10% max health while active. So how this works is that the health is going to drain down 10 and then stop. You don't get it back, but you don't lose it either. So that means if you're under 165 health, or if you use the boots minus 10, you won't really feel anything using this weapon, making it probably the most straightforward sword to date. On par with, but it's basically you want to use a stock but have the longer melee range, basically. So that was all the changes for Demoman and Demoknight. I hope to see some of you use those in game. Next up is the Dalokohs Bar. It was extremely strong. In fact, so strong that I wouldn't use anything else but that when I played. So we have decreased the faster eating speed from 100% faster, twice the speed, down to 40%. So now it's back to where it was. It's in a good state right now, I think. So you just eat it a bit faster than the banana and sandwich, and that's it, and that's fine. On to Medic. The syringe gun has been buffed a little bit, so instead of giving 1.5 uber per needle, it now gives a full 2, allowing you to soak up a lot more uber when using the needles. The Vaccinator has gotten a slight buff because of the longer time it takes to overheal and the support nature of the weapon. I decided to give it a little extra edge where the health decays at the same rate that you build slower. So it will now overheal given by the Vaccinator will now decay 33% slower. So what this means is if your team has multiple medics and one medic has healed a guy to full health and he stops healing him and then you heal him and then you stop, he will have, of course, the full health from the previous medic. However, he will get your bonus decay rate. However, if another medic heals him that isn't the Vaccinator, he will get the regular decaying. So that is just a tiny little thing to add up to make the Vaccinator a bit better, because now if you heal a bunch of targets and they're overhealed and you just tap them with the Vaccinator, you're going to have effective health that is in the spirit of the weapon. So weapons that will probably never be good regardless of how we balance them is the Bone Saw for the medic. In addition to now doing 10 seconds of bleed damage, it now deploys and holsters 65% faster, meaning that you can pick it up, hit somebody with it, and go straight back to healing very quickly. On to Pyro. The Dragon's Fury Air Blast penalty with 50% slower Air Blast is extremely crippling. So we've reduced that to 25% instead of 50. So it is now possible to reflect all of a soldier's rockets if you run backwards. On to Sniper. The Bushwhacker has gotten a change once again because I wasn't happy with the previous design, because it went against my philosophy of the weapon absolutely having to be paired with Girardi or the Cleaner's Carbine or Buff Banner buffs or anything else that gives mini crits. So what I've done is that I noticed that the Bushwhacker is actually slightly longer than the Kukri. So what I've done, we've given it a 10% longer melee range, but we reduced the damage with 10%. And we've still the 20% damage taken is still out of the picture. However, this will bring down the damage done to 176 damage, which means that 175 HP classes such as Demoman and Pyro, who usually ends up close to the Sniper, if they are overhealed more, they will be able to potentially kill the Sniper faster because they will survive a hit longer. For the Shahansha, which is surprisingly a lot longer sword than the other knives, I mean, you have the Kukri, I mean, it's basically a sword. So we have increased the melee range by 30%. Now keep in mind that a sword from the Demoman is 50% longer melee range, so it's only 20% less than that. And to compensate in true sword fashion, we have given it a 40% longer deploy time. Sword's deploy time is still 80% slower than stock, so it's about half that. And I'm still not sure how the formula of range versus deploy time, how that plays out, but we're going to test this and see how this flies. As for the soldier, the Liberty Launcher has gotten a buff again, so we keep altering the reload speed, because a lot of people felt that, man, like the Liberty Launcher really gimps you as a soldier. It makes you play very grounded. Well, that is the intended design, because if you rocket jump, you only have 2 rockets to shoot. 50% slower reload time might have been... It felt too much, so we reduced it to 10%. We'll see how this goes. As for the disciplinary action, last patch we introduced After Dark suggestion that making it a health drain. This did unfortunately not work, mainly because it punished the soldier for trying to whip a lot of players, switching weapons back and forth, and overly being very active and not committing to the disciplinary action, which you really don't want to do. So what I did is that now, similar to the Persian Persuader, you will now lose 30 health of your max health, and you won't regain it. And the way I've calculated this is that going to mid, whipping someone, versus going to mid, not whipping someone, and using gunboats, or maybe battalion's backup, or even the Conjurer to get to mid faster. So you might say that you can negate this by just using the Conjurer and the black box, and you absolutely can. The disciplinary action's downside is now negated by Conjurer and Black Box if you use it. However, if you're using Black Box and Conjurer, you're losing out on potential damage. So I think it's kind of fair, in the same way that you have the crossbow Vitasaw thing in the server as well, where the crossbow has been such a dominant player that you wouldn't ever not run something like that. And Soldier has the same thing, but now you have options to do the things that you want to do. So that is going to be it for the balance mod update for May. I hope you guys will join in on the balance mod play sessions that we have. We recently had one with RA7. None of you guys were invited, of course. It was just his crew. I originally wanted to do like my crew, like you guys, versus RA's crew, but after playing with them, we would just win like so hard there wouldn't even be any point trying. I mean, like, who would win, an avalanche or a snowboarder inside the avalanche when it's already started? So that was it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in game.